Okay, we've all been there, right? You're at a networking event and you're trapped in that one conversation that just will not end. Well, today we're going to learn the art of the graceful exit, how to turn those super awkward moments into, believe it or not, powerful opportunities. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The conversation, it starts out great. You find some common ground, you're connecting, but then the energy just fizzles and the whole thing starts to drift. And then it stalls. That awkward silence hits. The momentum is totally gone. Now you're both kind of looking around, searching for an escape hatch, right? A polite way out. But nobody wants to be that person who ends it. And boom, you're officially stalled. And poof, just like that, 10, maybe even 15 minutes of your time, gone. Time you could have spent meeting 3 other people, it's just vanished into a conversation that honestly probably should have ended 10 minutes ago. So yeah, this is what we're talking about. The conversation that never ends. And believe me, it has a high cost. If you don't have a clear exit plan, you're basically letting awkwardness dictate how you spend your most valuable resource, your time. Okay, so why? Why do these conversations get stuck all the time? Is it just bad luck? Nah. There's a real reason, and we're going to dig into it. And this is where things get really interesting. The problem, it's not what most of us think it is. It's not that you ran out of things to say. Nope. The real problem is a lack of closure. We just don't have a good shared script for how to politely end these things. And that leads us straight into the biggest trap of all. I call it the myth of the natural ending. You know what I mean. We're just waiting, hoping for that perfect little pause in the conversation where we can smoothly say, well, it was great talking. But here's the thing. That's a huge mistake. So look at this. This really nails the disconnect, doesn't it? On one hand, our common belief is wait for that natural pause. But the networking reality, that perfect pause, it pretty much never arrives. It's a total unicorn. And what's the cost of waiting for this unicorn? Well, you stay way longer than you should. And you're not staying because the conversation is amazing. You're staying because it's awkward to leave. And every single minute you linger is another opportunity, another potential connection that just walked right by. Okay, so how do we fix this? It all comes down to a mindset shift. We need to adopt what's called an intentional exit mindset. It's about reframing the whole act of leaving. It's not an abrupt end. It's a purposeful close. Just look at this simple reframe. In our heads, it feels like an abrupt end, like we're being rude. But what it actually is, it's an intentional close. You're not cutting someone off. You're giving the conversation the clean, respectful conclusion that honestly, it deserves. And when you do this right, think about the signals you're sending. You're showing respect for the conversation itself. You're showing that you're clear about your time and your purpose. And here's the kicker. It actually makes the follow-up feel more natural, not less, because the whole thing ended on a clear, confident note. There's this great line from the source material that I absolutely love. It says that ending a conversation well doesn't close a door, it often opens one. It sounds so backwards, right? But it's true. A graceful exit can actually make you more memorable and open the door for a real follow-up later on. All right, so you're probably thinking, okay, I get the mindset, but how do I actually do it? Well, it's way simpler than you think. There's a 2-step formula that is basically foolproof. Ready? Here it is, the 2-part exit formula. Step 1, name the value. This is so important. You just acknowledge something positive about the conversation. It makes the other person feel heard. Step 2, name the constraint. You state your reason for moving on. So, name the value, then name the constraint. So what does this sound like in the real world? Here's a perfect example. I'm really glad we got to talk about this. That's naming the value. I want to make sure I meet one more person before the event wraps up. That's naming the constraint. See? It's not some lame excuse. It's just being honest about why you're both there. I know, a part of your brain is screaming, but isn't that rude? But it's not. It really isn't. It's just transparent. Think about it. What's more respectful, being clear and honest, or letting the conversation die a slow, awkward death? I think we know the answer. And here's the best part. This is the real secret weapon. 9 times out of 10, the other person feels just as stuck as you do. They're relieved when you take the lead. So you're not just doing yourself a favor, you're actually doing them one too. You're giving them the gift of a graceful out. Okay, let's bring this all together, because knowing this stuff is great, but doing it is what counts. So here's your super simple 1-line action plan to put this into practice right away. Here it is.
your mission. Before the next time you go to any kind of networking event, just prepare one clean exit line. That's it. Just one. Use the formula, name the value, name the constraint. Have it ready in your back pocket, and when you feel that conversation start to drift, use it.
And I'll leave you with this final thought, which is so important. In these short networking windows, clarity beats that old school awkward politeness every single time. Being clear is being kind. It's your secret weapon. So the only question left is, what's your exit line going to be?